You know that feeling, right? When you're just scrolling late at night, or maybe walking down a busy street, and you just stop. Because you see a face that is, well, it's your face.
But on a total stranger.
Exactly. A complete stranger. And it's that classic doppelganger idea, that somewhere out there another person looks just like you. It's a little spooky.
It really is. It gives you this specific kind of existential pause. We go through life thinking our face is our own, it's our identifier.
Right. It's us.
And then the idea of a double it kind of challenges that whole sense of being unique. It's like a glitch in the matrix.
A glitch in the matrix. I love that. And today, we are going to unpack a really specific, really fascinating slice of this. We're not just talking about your uncle looking a bit like a movie star.
No, this is different.
We're doing a deep dive into 15 documented cases where Black celebrities actually came face-to-face with their non-biological twins. And we've got a whole stack of sources, videos, articles, interviews to break down what happens when these stars, well, when they literally align.
And what's so great about this source material is that it goes beyond just, hey, they look alike. It actually documents the interaction.
Yes.
And these range from, viral social media moments that connect people across continents to these live TV shocks that just silence an entire studio.
That's our mission for today. We want to explore the physical match, sure, but really the psychological reaction. Because the reactions we found are all over the place. We've got pure joy and charity.
But you also get legal threats.
Yeah.
And full-on identity crises.
It's a wild ride.
It really is a study in perception. I mean, you take that unique celebrity aura, this whole mix of power, talent, brand, and certainly it's duplicated by a regular person.
Yeah.
The celebrity has to decide right then and there, is this a compliment?
Or is it a threat? Is this person a mirror or are they competition?
Exactly.
So let's start with how these things even happen now. I mean, it used to be you'd have to bump into someone at the airport. Now it feels like the algorithms are out there hunting for our twins.
That's a huge takeaway from the sources. Technology, especially social media, has just erased the geographical lines. You don't have to be in the same city. You can be on different continents.
Which brings us to Kevin Hart. This is the perfect example of what you're calling the digital bridge.
It really is. Platforms like TikTok have just accelerated this whole phenomenon.
Oh, this story is wild. So it's November 2020. Everyone's locked down, scrolling. And a video pops up from Zambia. It's a guy named Bowiso.
And Bowiso is an environmental activist. He's just singing along to some local music.
But nobody cared about the song. All anyone could see was Kevin Hart.
The resemblance was uncanny. But the source notes something I found really interesting here. It wasn't just his face, the smile, the eyes. It was the kinetics.
The way he moved.
Yes. He mimicked Kevin's hand gestures, that sort of frantic, high-energy thing he does. He just nailed it. It shows that resemblance isn't just static, it's about how we move.
So, of course, Kevin sees this. He posts a reaction video, calls Bowiso his African version. But this is where it gets good. They set up a Zoom call.
And you have this incredible split screen. Kevin's in his LA mansion. Bowiso is in a village in Zambia with, really spotty internet.
The screen keeps freezing and glitching, but every time the connection came back, it was like looking in a mirror.
And that's where the whole thing shifts from just a viral joke to something more. I mean, once they were done laughing, Bowiso started talking about his reality, about the environmental projects he was working on.
Right. It wasn't just, haha, we look alike. Kevin actually pivoted the conversation. He promised to give financial support to Bowiso's community project. It turned a meme into something meaningful.
It validates the humanity of the double. He's not just a prop for a joke. And we saw a similar thing with Rihanna, though, in a very different context. This was April 2021.
Priscilla Beatrice from Brazil. Now, she was a little different. She actually used makeup to enhance her resemblance to Rihanna on TikTok.
And she was so good that Rihanna herself commented.
Which led to a FaceTime. And the visual the source describes is so striking. You've got Rihanna, this global icon, in a mansion in Barbados. And on the other side of the screen is Priscilla, in a simple home in Brazil.
It really highlights that economic gap between the star and the fan.
But the vibe wasn't like that. It was surprisingly peer-to-peer. They talked makeup tips, highlighters. Rihanna totally validated her artistry. It's like she saw herself, not just her face, but her passion in this fan.
Validation. That's the key word.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not even that deep. Sometimes it's just hilarious, like the Rick Ross story from December 2023.
Oh, this one is pure comedy. Okay, so imagine you're Rick Ross. You're at home in Miami, and suddenly your social media explodes because there's a video of you partying on a yacht in Cancun.
Except Rick Ross is not in Cancun.
Not even close. The guy on the yacht was Darciel Gates, just a regular dude on vacation. But the build, the beard, the sunglasses, everyone on that boat thought he was the rapper.
And Darciel, let's just say he didn't rush to correct them.
Why would you? He's having the time of his life. So Rick Ross video calls him. You've got Ross in Miami and Darciel still on the yacht in Mexico. And instead of being mad, Ross is loving it.
Darciel starts rapping along to Rick Ross's own beats. And he's actually good.
He's got flow. It's like, for Rick Ross, his whole persona is the boss. If someone else can step into that role and pull it off, he sees it as free marketing.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
Same thing with Kirk Franklin and the Rap Replies. Two totally different worlds,
Yes.
gospel and hip-hop. But in October 2022, rumors started that they were clones.
Clones. The internet just goes straight to conspiracy.
Always. But Kirk Franklin, he just leans into it. He calls Plies live on a radio show. And again, no lawyers, just connection. Kirk suggests they do a joint charity campaign.
It seems like for a lot of these stars, finding a double becomes a catalyst for doing something good.
It does. But, and this is a really big but, all of these examples happen behind a screen. It changes the dynamic completely when the doppelganger walks right into your workplace.
That is such a great point. A video is one thing. A person wearing your face standing 3 feet away from you is something else entirely. Which brings us to Steve Harvey.
Oh yes, the Family Feud incident, November 2024 in Atlanta.
The scene is just perfect. It's the high-pressure fast money round, the Johnson family is up, and out walks James Johnson.
And the source says the studio first went silent and then just exploded with noise. And Steve Harvey, a man who is never at a loss for words, just freezes.
He walks over to James, and it's like looking at a mirror image, the height, the mustache, even the suit.
And Steve, being the showman he is, he just rolls with it. He invites James to take the host chair. He's like, you want to be me? Go ahead, run the show.
But that's where the illusion breaks, which is what makes it so funny. James tries to ask a question, he gets it wrong, and the whole audience just loses it.
And that moment is so telling. It proves that being Steve Harvey isn't just the face. It's the timing, the cadence, the decades of experience.
Yeah.
James looked the part, but he didn't have the engine.
Exactly. It ended with a hug and gifts for the family, but for a second there, total glitch in the simulation. And speaking of glitches, we have to talk about John Legend on The Voice. October 2023.
The irony here is just perfect. It's a blind audition. The whole point of the show is that looks don't matter.
Right. So this singer, Talachai, is on stage singing a Sam Smith song. Amazing voice.
Yeah.
John Legend turns his chair around and he just sees himself.
It was his exact double. Talakai, who works in a coffee shop, said customers ask for his autograph all the time, but the real moment of connection was when they sang a duet.
Their voices, they blended perfectly.
That is just wild.
To look alike is one thing, but to sound alike, it must felt like John was singing with a ghost or like a version of himself from a parallel universe where he didn't get famous.
And this isn't even a new thing. We think of it as a social media phenomenon, but the source material takes us all the way back to 1985, to Eddie Murphy.
Prime Eddie Murphy, peak of his fame. He's on a set in New York, and a stuntman named Chuck Jeff walks in. And the crew thinks it's Eddie arriving early. They start prepping him for the scene.
And when the real Eddie shows up, they don't just laugh it off. They do this impromptu comedy bit together. And Eddie sees the utility in it. He offers Chuck a job as his stunt double in a film. He saw a business asset.
You look like me. Great, you can take the falls. It's so pragmatic. And this is where the tone shifts. Not every celebrity wants to hire their double.
No.
Some of them want to shut them down.
This is such a critical distinction. For a comedian like Steve Harvey, a double is just a funny bit. But for a brand that is built on exclusivity, a double can be seen as a threat.
Which brings us to Drake and the infamous fake Drake, this guy named Izzy, June 2022. This story took a very different turn.
A hard left turn. Izzy wasn't just some guy who happened to look like Drake. He was actively impersonating him, going to clubs in Toronto, getting VIP treatment, even performing.
He was monetizing the resemblance, and that's where the line gets crossed. Izzy actually FaceTimed Drake, probably thinking they'd have this funny "we're twins" moment.
It was not that.
No. The source says Drake's surprise quickly turned to irritation. It wasn't haha, it was stop using my image to fool people.
Drake sees his image as intellectual property. Izzy was diluting the brand. Drake warned him to stop. But Izzy, he posts the video anyway. He even challenges Drake to a boxing match.
He tried to build a career off the conflict, which of course led to a cease and desist letter. Izzy had to change his name to Izzy Famous. It really shows you the dark side of this. When does a fan become a fraud?
It really depends on the celebrity's own security. I mean, contrast Drake's reaction with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yes. August 2021. This picture of Eric Fields, a police officer in Alabama, goes viral. And I've seen it. It's genuinely uncanny how much he looks like The Rock.
The muscles, the shaved head, everything.
But The Rock didn't send a lawyer. He flew to Alabama. He went and met Eric at a local bar.
The source described them as being like long, separated twins. The Rock promised to support community police activities. He saw the resemblance as a way to connect with the community, not as a threat to his brand.
I guess when you're The Rock, you're not worried that a cop from Alabama is going to take your spot. You're secure.
That's it exactly.
Yeah.
Security allows for generosity. Drake felt threatened, The Rock felt amused, and sometimes it's just pure unscripted joy. Like Don Cheadle and Freddie Gibbs at the Super Bowl party in 2022.
Oh, that was great. The rapper and the actor, they just see each other across the room and they freeze. Then they just start laughing and hug it out while everyone films it. It was just two guys saying, "Yep, the internet is right."
It creates this instant bond. But sometimes that bond goes much deeper than a laugh at a party. Sometimes the resemblance carries a really heavy weight. Which brings us to the most profound part of this deep dive.
You're talking about the stories where hardship and identity are really at the center of it. This isn't all fun and games. Let's talk about Oprah Winfrey and Carol Wood.
This story really stays with you. It was March 2015 on The Oprah Winfrey Show. Carol Wood walks out on stage and the audience just gasps. She looked exactly like Oprah.
But her life was the complete opposite. Carol revealed she had lived in her car, that she struggled to get jobs, and the reason? People thought she was mocking Oprah or trying to be an impersonator. Her face, which for Oprah is a billion-dollar asset, was a liability for Carol.
It's the burden of being an icon's double.
What?
You can't just be anonymous. People project all their feelings about Oprah onto you. If they love her, they bother you. If they dislike her, they judge you. She lost her own identity in Oprah's shadow.
It's heartbreaking. But Oprah, she completely flipped the script. She didn't just say, "Wow, that's crazy." She gave Carol startup funding. She validated her identity and gave her the resources to build her own life, so she wasn't just poor Oprah. She gave her a fresh start.
That's the power of that kind of status. You can turn someone's burden into a blessing. And speaking of status and grace, we have to talk about Morgan Freeman and Kofi Annan.
What a duo. The actor who plays God and the former UN Secretary General. They met at UN headquarters in May 2012.
And the humor here is just so sophisticated. Kofi Annan admitted that when he was in Italy, people would swarm him, thinking he was Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
And to avoid disappointing them, he would just sign autographs as Morgan Freeman.
I love that. That is next level diplomacy. He put the fans' happiness above his own ego.
It is, and Morgan Freeman just thought it was hilarious. It led to them collaborating on a peace education documentary. They used their shared face for a shared cause.
And finally, even a president isn't immune. Barack Obama. This was May 2017. A tour guide in Cape Verde named Jose Oliveira.
Another Zoom call. Jose has the ears, the smile, everything. And he would mimic Obama's speeches for tourists. And Obama, instead of being offended, he encouraged him. He told Jose to use the likeness to boost tourism for Cape Verde.
Use my face to help your country. Amazing.
It covers the whole human experience, from a TikTok joke to, international relations.
So let's bring this all together. We've seen the funny, the scary, the profound. What is the big takeaway here? Why do these stories resonate so much with us?
I think it comes back to that mirror effect we mentioned. We're wired for pattern recognition. And when we see a face repeat, it triggers a deep curiosity. But emotionally, I think it's all about connection.
Break that down a little more.
For the celebrity, meeting a doppelganger, it kind of punctures the bubble of fame.
Sure.
Suddenly, they're not this untouchable god, they're just biology. They see a version of themselves that didn't get the record deal, that works in a coffee shop. It grounds them.
And for the fan.
For the fan, it elevates them. It says, you matter. It validates their existence. Unless, of course, you're the fake Drake, and then it's lesson in copyright law.
Right. It's really a test of ego, isn't it? Can you handle seeing another version of yourself?
Precisely. It blurs the line between the untouchable star and the everyday person. It reminds us that underneath all the fame and the money, we're all just arranging the same set of genetic features in slightly different ways.
That is a very humbling thought. So here's something for you to chew on today. We've seen The Rock buy his double a drink and Drake send his double a legal threat. If you walked into a coffee shop and saw someone who looked exactly like you, what would you do?
The ultimate what if.
Would you feel threatened, like your identity was being stolen? Or would you feel this weird, sudden kinship, like you just found a lost sibling?
And more importantly, what does your reaction say about how secure you are and who you are?
Deep stuff. Keep looking in the mirror, folks. You never know who might be looking back from the other side of the world.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Until next time.